welcome to another episode of Montana Shares, your opportunity to find out about the nonprofits that make our state so great. I'm your host, Bill Crane, and today I have Nikki and Mike. We're going to talk about Big Sky Institute for the advancement of nonprofits and some events coming up.
Absolutely.
How are you guys doing?
Well, thrilled to have sunshine and a little change of pace so I can get my lawn cut. Finally, the last cut.
The little things in life are so great.
Yeah.
But let's talk about the bigger things. Tell us a little bit about what BSI is all about and what you got. We'll come to what's coming up after
Sure.
that.
Well, Big Sky Institute is an organization that really focuses on building Montana's communities through two basic strategies: strengthening nonprofits and expanding philanthropy. And in doing so, we're not the typical nonprofit. We engage in research. We put forward publications around different needs of the nonprofit sector. We use an incubation mode to establish new organizations where there are gaps in what's needed for the sector. We build partnerships with funders to get money on the table for capacity building. So we're involved in grant making, even though we're not endowed. Wish we were, but we're not there yet. And in particular, we do a lot of work in in-depth capacity building that is very transformative, that involves very, very experienced consultants working hands-on with organizations over time. A lot of our work has been and continues to be statewide, but in Helena, we have a collection of programs called the Helena Development Initiative, and all of those really are geared toward helping groups improve, strengthen, and pass on to new staff skills in fundraising development.
Okay. So after all this hard work, periodically you have to have a party, right?
Absolutely.
So tell me about what's coming up.
On November 5th, we will be gathering. Some people still call it the Radisson. Some people still call it the Colonial from way back, but it is now known as Delta Hotels Helena Colonial. And on November 5th, we will have a dinner and celebration event honoring people and organizations that really stand out as what we call community philanthropists. And this is something that is open to the public. We did not find the pot of gold. This actually costs for ticket admission, but it's something that really lifts up those both individuals, foundations, and businesses that give broadly in the community, that really look at diverse needs in the community and respond to that, and really, by virtue of doing that, promote a way in which philanthropy can be very inclusive at a time when inclusivity in our society is something that is under a lot of discussion. And we certainly have taken the stance that philanthropy, if it's inclusive, contributes to inclusive community building. So that's really the big focus for this event. And it also tries to take into account there have been generational shifts in how people give. There's a major role in social media in giving, and there's a lot that seems to happen that has better known and better recognized organizations more visibly being accentuated. And a lot of those organizations we love. I count on the hospital for my health needs. I want them to be visible. But some of the richness and special things in our community are really done by small nonprofits without that visibility. So this whole element of what we do around community philanthropy is about lifting up the diverse needs in the community and encouraging philanthropy that reaches out and stretches and helps with that diversity of need. Okay.
So do we need a spoiler alert here that we're actually going to tell who's going to be there, right?
Well, in fact, you're hitting the nail right on the head.
So who are the nominees, who won, that kind of thing?
Well, we'll throw this ball to Nikki.
Okay.
I am really excited. There are 4 categories of awardees, and this year we have an individual, a business, a foundation, and then the fourth category is called Pinnacle Award. The individual awardee is Rick Pfeiffer, who is a well-known attorney around town and partner with Dubeck, Pfeiffer, Fox, and Storer. He was nominated by David Smith from the YMCA. The business that we're honoring this year is Anderson Zermulin, which of course is a statewide public accounting firm, but they're headquartered here in Helena. And they were nominated by Lori Lattis from Rocky Mountain Development Corporation. We're very pleased that the Helena Area Community Foundation was nominated this year and is an awardee representing local community foundations. You, of course, but
that
Bill,
one I do know.
yes, as the executive director at Montana Shares, you nominated HCF, and that is an incredible award for them. And finally, the Pinnacle Award awardee this year is Opportunity Bank of Montana. They're statewide, of course, but they're headquartered, I believe, and started here in our Queen City of the Rockies. And Mike from Big Sky Institute nominated them for that award this year.
Okay.
And it's purely coincidental
So,
that half of the nominators are at the table right here
That is
today.
pure coincidence, without a doubt. So the sort of the flip side of philanthropy is we have sponsors that make these events happen. And they're the names that come up all the time, really. These are the people that, even though they may not be acknowledged at this specific event in awards, they're always the ones that are supporting our community. And so who are the sponsors and who's making this happen this year?
I have the cheat sheet.
You have the cheat sheet. Fire away.
On that one, of course, number one on the list is Opportunity Bank of Montana, and none of the nonprofits in town could do what they do without the support of the Helena Independent Record. So we're very happy to have the newspaper as a sponsor. As Mike said, the event is at the Delta Hotels, formerly the Radisson Colonial, and they are also one of our sponsors this year. Individually, we have the Spire Family Foundation, Allegra Marketing, Print and Mail, Crowley Fleck Law Firm, Sullivan Financial Group, Kathleen Coleman, who is a realtor with Uncommon Ground, South Hills Dental, Eliza Wiley Photography, Trimec Group, realtors in town, and Signs Now. And the one thing that I think we should point out about this group of sponsors is how incredibly eclectic the group is. And I think that is tremendous comment about the breadth of the Big Sky Institute and their relationships across the community.
You bet. I think that's indicative of our nonprofit community is supported by that breadth. You bet. So who should attend? Who should be there or be square?
Well, I guess that you've got me out of order here. Really who we want to be there is, in a sense, anyone who really cares about the future of Helena because of the amazing roles that nonprofits in this community play that really maintain the vitality and the quality of life that we enjoy here. And it's also those who in particular are fond of nonprofits, want to see them be successful and have a lot of heart for them. This is a great event around this relationship between philanthropy and nonprofits. And so often in big cities, there's a lot of barriers around how you connect and who you have to know. And we're in a place in Montana in general and Helena in particular where we can get to know each other. And so there's networking and chances to meet new people and visit, and in particular, for those being honored this year, to really be able to visit with them personally and show your appreciation, and in some cases get to know them if you hadn't known them. Again, a big reason why we do this, particularly in the individual donor category, is a sense it's really nice to honor people while they're still alive, not wait until later. And that's just a great thing to be able to do.
Okay. And so to pop around in the order here, the Pinnacle Award is something that was added recently. Why'd you add that? What's it all about?
I searched and searched for a name, and once you go to the dictionary and get past geologic formations and construction artifacts, the definition that we wanted is it's the highest point of development or achievement. And the reason we focused in on this in particular, and there was a good fit with what we've seen and experienced with Opportunity Bank, is that what we've seen and what we feel is important is investment in what we call infrastructure organizations in the nonprofit world and in philanthropy. And two examples, one being Big Sky Institute, another being Helena Area Community Foundation, where by virtue of investing in those kinds of organizations, who they in turn serve scores and scores and scores of organizations, there's a huge leveraging and multiplier effect. So that's something that we saw both as a need in our still relatively young state, the need to invest in these kinds of infrastructure organizations that help so many nonprofits and gets leveraged investment for the investors. And we wanted to really recognize that because right from the beginning of our efforts, Opportunity, well, they were American Federal Savings Bank back then, got involved with seed money and has been not only funding different components year after year, but each year increasing so that we're able to reach more nonprofits. So that's something that we really wanted to lift up. And in future years, it may be an individual, it may be a foundation. We may not do it every year, but it is something that we think is really important so that you're looking at investment in organizations, but you're also looking at systemic investment that helps change the world and make it better for those organizations.
Totally. How do people get tickets to this event? This is something you don't just show up at the door, hopefully. You've got a cutoff, you need tickets to get in the door. Tell us about that.
Well, there's this thing about ordering the food and having it there. And
having the right amount, and little details.
So our cutoff is October 29th, and there is an unpronounceable bit of language that's showing on the screen I can see of where people need to go for the link to sign up. It's on Eventbrite, and that's really the place for it. And that has everything from, well, what are the mail options? And as well as if you're involved with an organization and we'd like that organization to be recognized, how you do that so it shows up on our materials.
So follow the link that's on the screen, come out for a great dinner and a great opportunity to hang out with people, right?
Absolutely.
Is that simple enough?
I think that sums it up really well.
Okay, well, let's wrap up on that. Thank you guys for coming on the show, as always.
Thank you
Our
for
pleasure.
having us.
You bet.
Yeah.
Thank you guys for tuning in and watching the show. We really appreciate it, and stay tuned for another episode coming up soon.